Happy Friday, guys. We think we have our stream issues fixed for those of us who joined us last week. We had some issues. But that was our Instagram. We were critiquing Instagram accounts, Instagram business accounts. So we're hoping to do another one of those. I didn't want to do one of those like back-to-back Fridays. So we'll do one not this upcoming Friday, but next Friday. And that way we can actually get more of your accounts critiqued, because I know that was really frustrating last week. But because things got so frustrating last week, and I promised you guys more help with your Instagram account, over the weekend I created a really great resource for all of you. It is an Instagram challenge kit. It is completely free. It is for a 30-day Instagram challenge, and you can start it whenever you want. It's not like, oh, it's starting today. You can fill in your calendar and start your 30 days whenever you want to. But the link to that is down below. It comes with a video that I posted on Tuesday that's going to give you some really great Instagram tips. It's going to include a full calendar, a schedule. It's got 35 Instagram reel ideas, 35 Instagram post ideas, 35 Instagram story ideas, and then I think 13 live stream ideas. And it's going to tell you exactly when you need to be posting to Instagram in order to grow your account within 30 days. The reason that it's a 30-day challenge and not a forever challenge is because it's going to be hard to maintain for a straight 30 days. You're going to be tired. So that's down below for you guys. You can find it down there in the video description. Or if you can't find it there, go to ℸ𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚.com, and it's right on our homepage as well. So how's everybody doing? Happy Friday.
Looks like we're doing good.
Is everything...
Lou said, yes, I opened my Etsy shop when I found out about it in 2008 and then ignored it for the next decade. I only saw gurus trying to complain about how terrible it was. Yeah, people still do that.
Sorry for you, Mark and Starla. There's a few dimwits here today. There are?
Who?
Where?
I'm not seeing any bad comments. Maybe misunderstood comments. Jimmy said recently in merchant groups advice like not to worry about terms like Marvel, Star Wars, Games Workshop, Warhammer 40K, Space Marine, SW Legion, because they were all over Etsy, so they're safe. Yeah, that's not quite how that works. No. A lot of people sell heroin, so it must be safe to sell heroin. It's not how it works.
It's not just, YouTube algorithm, in case you're listening. Guys, if it's your first time here, these are live. We cater these to our live audience. We always get a couple comments where people are like, your videos are too long. No, just the Friday beans. These are our live streams where we hang out with you guys. And if you want shorter content, you can see those on Tuesday. So every other video on my channel is shorter, if that makes sense. You can see how long the videos are. You know what you're signing up for when you're here.
I think this is frozen.
Oh.
It was.
Okay. So I had a poll on top of our chat, our live chat today, where I asked... have you ever been given bad Etsy advice by someone? 74% of you said yep, and 26% of you said not that I know of. And I decided to make it not that I know of and not no, because what if you have and you don't know of it? So today we're going to be covering tons and tons of bad advice that you guys submitted in the Handmade Alpha Facebook community and the Handmade Alpha Academy Student Campus last night. And boy, oh boy, there are some doozies, because we see bad Etsy advice all the time. We see it from different Etsy YouTubers who, they sell successfully on Etsy, therefore they believe that they know everything about Etsy. And unfortunately, sometimes the things that you observe in your own shop aren't necessarily the case for the majority, nor do they follow Etsy's best practices. We see it a lot in the Etsy forums. We see it a lot in different Facebook groups. So one of the things that we're big about here is making sure that if we are saying something, that there's either something to back it up, or we are conveying that it is from our experiences or that it is subjective, or, it's something that we have observed. So we try to take a scientific approach to everything, which is something that I know that you guys appreciate.
Shut up. Shut up. I don't care who you are. Shut up.
So we're going to be reading those little bits that you guys have submitted, and you guys are free to ask questions in the chat. You guys are free to add your own bad Etsy advice that you've received in the chat, and I've got it all in my handy dandy phone. So let me pull them up so I can start reading them. Should I read their name? I'll read I'll read their first names.
Yeah,
Is
first names.
I'll
First
read your
names should be
I'll
fine.
read your first names for those of you who
There
have
it goes.
submitted. All right, so the first one is from Megan, and this is one that I see a lot. Megan said it was on a YouTube video, but this person was telling everyone to raise their prices right before they start a sale, and then when the sale is over, drop their prices back down to normal. I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure that's illegal in the US, or at the very least frowned upon by the FTC. So I got on the FTC's website, wouldn't you know, and the FTC considers it deceptive to offer an item for sale at a higher price for a short period of time in order to support a claim that an item is discounted when the price is then lowered. This practice is prohibited. So you can't do that. It's not.
You can totally raise your prices for a sale as long as your prices stay that way.
Mm-hmm.
You can't then lower your prices down to any particular value below what you had it at before the sale.
Yeah, you're totally allowed to raise your prices.
And if you discount that item afterwards, like you have a sale years later on and you're going to discount that item as a clearance sale, that's fine as long as you're not bringing the price back up.
Yeah.
You just
yeah.
have to be careful with how you do things and how you word things. Don't
And-
be deceptive.
Yeah, and they specify for a significant amount of time. So if it's like, you know, you're doing it 1 week this way, 1 week that way, 1 week this way, then yeah, that's deceptive. If it's one of those things where you price it and then you're like, oh crap, one of my suppliers, their prices went up for my supplies, and then you increase the price, but then your supplier drops their prices again, and you're like, oh cool, I can go back to my normal prices. That's probably fine. All right, so next one is from Wes. He said, you don't need to advertise. You can just sit back and let the cash roll in. That's a fun one. No. So one of the big things that I teach here and that I've talked about for years is that, yeah, Etsy SEO is great. Organic traffic from Etsy is great. But if somebody had a stack of lottery tickets and they said, here, you can scratch off all of these, and you're like, I'll just have one, thank you. I mean, who would do that, really? If you knew that one of those lottery tickets was going to be a winner, wouldn't you want to scratch them all off? It's the same thing. If you have an opportunity to generate an audience for your products and you have an opportunity to build an audience that's going to come back to buy again and again, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you get on social media? Why wouldn't you research all the different social media platforms and find out where your primary demographic is hanging out? Obviously, I'm big for Instagram because I feel like everybody's on Instagram now. It used to be a much younger crowd, but it's becoming a lot more widespread for everybody. I'm seeing lots and lots of success on Pinterest, obviously, and we're seeing a decent amount of Etsy success on TikTok, especially in, very niche markets. Just depending on if what you create can be showcased on TikTok in a really unique way that people enjoy watching and they feel entertained by. And even if your product isn't interesting, is there anything that you do with that product that could be interesting? For example, soap isn't that interesting, but watching somebody cut soap, people love that. Packaging stickers, that's not super duper interesting, but if you're showing the whole process of packing your orders and like everything that you use, people love that stuff. So
Bunch of comments on here.
cool. You pull up the next one while you're doing that.
I hate that people actually believe this advice and continue to follow them. Makes me have hope. The more who follow bad advice, the better chance I have to get sales. Absolutely. There's a lot of people that are getting into coaching for Etsy. Some people that have been around for a while that there's a difference between having your own opinions on how to do something and then also saying something completely opposite to what Etsy's best practices say. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that have just bad advice strictly because it's not an opinionated thing. It's something that is in the best practices that you could just follow. And Etsy can't lie to you. If it's in their best practices, that's how it has to be. They can't tell you one thing and it be another way. That would be deceptive. So, yeah, be careful with who you follow.
Absolutely.
We got a few more comments. You can wait.
Oh, okay.
I vaguely remember some big box stores being busted for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, stores like Kohl's should be in trouble for it to begin with because there's literally not a single rack in our Kohl's up the street. Not exaggerating. There's not a single rack in the entirety of the store that doesn't have a sale sign above it. the entire store. That you can't have every single item that you have
on sale always.
on sale always. Then it's not on sale. That's just the price. It's just more deceptive marketing. There are strict rules about this in the UK too. The price would have to have been higher at a higher price for a certain number of days and a period of time before the sales. I don't know the exact numbers. And Charlie said it has to be 28 days at the higher price before you can discount it for a sale.
Cool. I didn't know that.
That's good. We don't have as many laws for deceptive marketing tactics here. So.
Yeah.
Etsy. Hi guys. Etsy will be retaining 75% of my earnings for 90 days on my new shop, even though I ship with tracking all the time. What's up with that?
That's the
just
payment reserve.
Yeah, payment reserve.
Can't fight it. That's how it is now, unfortunately.
Yeah, their criteria is laid out pretty flat. If you're following all the criteria and your stuff still got locked up, all we can tell you to do is contact their support.
I've got a new Etsy shop that I just started. Only HAA students know about it. I'm not sharing it with the public yet because I want to see it, take off organically. But my new Etsy shop still on payment reserve. I started that shop early June. Is he biting you?
Yeah.
Early June, and it's still on its payment reserve. So
I'm doing him a love bite, but it hurts.
All right, let's see. And then I did want to Mr. Cerulean, which I like your name. I like the Etsy coaches who haven't even got Etsy shops. My original Etsy shop, my big shop, is no longer open. And then I have a lot of people who are like, your Alpha Adapt shop doesn't have any traffic, because we have an Etsy shop that we use for testing, for experimenting, but it is catered to the alphas. Nobody's going to organically find that shop and search because it is just alpha merchandise, like the shirt that he's wearing right now is one of our merch shirts. And I was finding that, okay, I do have an Etsy shop now. I have another Etsy shop. And it's a great place for me to run experiments because you guys know that I'm a manager at erank.com, which means that, I like to be able to test things. And often Anthony, eRank CEO, needs me to test different things in my shop. But I wasn't getting organic results and things. So that's why I started yet another shop that I'm not telling you about just yet because I want to get some organic stats for you. But that new shop, I think that this is going to be a better gauge for me to be able to run more efficient experiments in, especially when it comes to SEO, because we've got a lot of changes coming to eRank in the next few months. So I like throwing out that disclaimer because I know that we've got a lot of people who are like, you closed your Etsy shop. You don't know. Well, I did close my big Etsy shop, but I'm also a manager at one of the biggest Etsy SEO companies, and my entire job is to know every single thing that Etsy does at all times ever. So
yeah, we've only had a couple of people kind of crap on us for not having the big Etsy shop anymore, but imagine running a actual full-time Etsy shop where you're literally working on it for 5 to 8 hours per day on a normal day, and then when we do our quarterly launches or up to half-year launches towards the end, you're working like 16-hour days every single day for like 3 or 4 weeks. There's no possible way that we could have maintained that kind of shop and what we do now. There's just no way.
And working for eRank and running Handmade Alpha Academy and making a video every Tuesday and sitting here with you for over an hour every Friday.
The only thing that you really gain from selling on Etsy as a coach is knowing about the small things that change here and there. But we have so much more time that we can dedicate to reading into how Etsy works and experimenting with more than just our own shop. You got to consider that now that we have well over 600 HAA students, we have several of them that we know personally that we can speak to at any given point in time when they have an issue, when they have something new pop up, when something new pops up in the Etsy community that we didn't know. Like, we have so much more access to what the majority of people don't have access to for that information. If anything, we know more than the average Etsy seller because we can see into we have digital shops and sticker shops and jewelry shops and wreath shops, and we can watch how everything works for everybody. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, let's keep moving. I did want to answer FA. If I want my Etsy shop on vacation mode for 6 weeks, someone told me it will slow traffic. I have a video on that. It's called... I made it like 3 weeks ago, and it's called Etsy Penalized for Vacation Mode. It's the thumbnail is big and red, and it's on my channel. So go watch that. It'll answer everything that you need to know.
Oh, and no, cerulean witch, we know you weren't calling us out.
No, no, no,
I was speaking on other people in the past that have said something.
Here's the thing. If somebody brings something up that I feel that I need to acknowledge just to make sure that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure that everybody is aware. Because
We do have the experience of bringing a shop to its actual glass ceiling without hiring employees. Like, we peaked the shop.
Yes. All right. So next one, Cindy had two good ones. One of them, a lot of people submitted, and that is relisting items every single day. I did a video about this a while back. Basically, there were a bunch of people a couple years ago who said to go in and select all of the items on your back end and pay the 20 cents to renew them every single day. That way you could ride that organic boost that Etsy gives you for listing a new product. And it did work. It worked for a little while. It was like
about 10 years ago.
It was 7. I double checked it.
Did you? 7?
Yeah, 7 years ago. It did work. It don't work no more. Etsy can tell when you're doing shady things. So if something sounds like you're trying to game the system, it's usually not something that is going to be good for your shop. And not to mention, how do you think that looks to Etsy when they see that your item is being renewed every single day, but you're still not selling anything?
Etsy's not a small company. Etsy's a multi-billion-dollar company who has a stock price of over $100. Like, Etsy's not small. They're smart enough to detect when you're doing the little tricks that worked before they were even a public company.
Yeah. What is in the shop? I can't tell you.
None of your business.
I can't tell. It's very niche, and it is related to my dog who passed away in March. That's all I can say, because otherwise you guys are too smart and you will find it, and I don't want you to find it yet.
I don't want you to find it.
I don't want you to find it yet. I'm still working on it. All right. Next one is Cindy also said, copy your title into the description. Once again, something else that even I taught this when I first started making Etsy YouTube videos way back when.
Because it was still kind of an unknown.
Yeah, because Etsy never told us not to, and we didn't know whether or not descriptions held weight in Etsy search. And then it came out that they didn't hold weight in Etsy search, so the act of grabbing your entire title and pasting it down in your description, it was kind of a moot point, and not to mention ranking on Google is very, very hard. So even though Google read our descriptions, it wasn't worth it to make that big sloppy title be the first thing that shoppers saw in your description. And then a couple months ago, Etsy updated the algorithm, and they have announced that now descriptions do hold weight in search. But it's still not a good idea to go in and just grab your entire title and paste it into your description. It is better to use the main keywords that you want to be known for, your superstar keywords as we call them, organically in that description. I would recommend just trying to write a brief sentence right at the top of your description that incorporates whatever the main thing that you want to be known for is. I do have a video on my channel called Everything That You Need to Know About the Etsy 2022 Algorithm that will cover everything about this update. And I said that I would update the video if we heard anything else, and we haven't heard anything else. So that information is still totally relevant. So feel free to go watch that if you're like, oh, there was an update? I had no idea. But now keywords and descriptions are technically looked at by Etsy, but they're not as big a deal as, as you might think.
You're going upstairs.
It's a cat. The cat misbehaves. The cat is a naughty cat. All right, next one is, let's see. Is it Chandra? The pictures are the most important part of your shop. One time I had a lady ask me to look at her Etsy shop. Her photos were gorgeous. Her SEO was terrible. No one was even seeing those photos. I learned that day it doesn't matter how beautiful your photos are if no one sees them. That is true. Likewise, it doesn't matter how good your SEO is. Even if your product is on page 1, position 1 of the most popular search on Etsy, if your photos are bad, nobody's going to click on your listing. So I wouldn't say that either is more important than the other. When it comes to success on Etsy, there are two things that I think that you need to prioritize.
Waffles and bacon.
Waffles and bacon. No, photos. And I dare say photos are number one, because you can market externally. You can market on social media and still get people buying, right? As long as you've got good photos. And you can build a listing quality score for a listing that doesn't have great SEO, and it can rank. But at the same time, SEO is important because, as she said, even if you have gorgeous photos, if they're showing up all the way on page 100 of an Etsy search, it doesn't matter. You're not going to have anybody organic stumbling across your listing. So photos, I do think, are more important because you can sell with bad SEO. You just have to kind of foot the traffic yourself. So that's why I say in every scenario, you have to have good photos. But you are correct in saying that if your SEO is bad, then people organically won't be able to find you. All right. Did we have any questions before I get to the next one?
I believe so. Shirley asked, why would a shop ever be subjected to a payment reserve?
New shops.
New shops, and if you have strikes against your shop as well. They have a whole set of guidelines. If you just search Etsy payment reserve on Google, it'll pop up. Etsy has a whole thing on it. We have some shops in the UK which are permanently having a closing down sale. It's a running joke here.
Yeah, we have furniture stores like that. Everything must go.
Pretty much every corporate store other than like Walmart and Target is always on sale. If I want my shop, we already did that one.
Okay.
I'll imagine only being able to teach about the things you're currently experiencing. No more fiction novels.
We had an alpha say that I loved this quote. She said something like, "Oh yeah, and Michael Jordan doesn't know how to play basketball." Which that makes total sense to me, right? Because just because he's not currently playing basketball, it doesn't mean that he doesn't know how to play basketball.
Exactly. Listing expires with very few views. Do you improve it and relist it and keep the data earned so far, or make a copy, improve it, and list it as a new listing to get a little boost from Etsy?
A listing quality, does it have any sales? I don't care about views. Does it have any sales? If it has no sales, you might be fine to just relist or to make a copy of it. I would be using totally different keywords or changing up your thumbnail or something, because obviously what you're currently doing isn't working for that listing. If it does have sales, a sales history is better than starting from scratch in most cases. It's better to have a little bit of a sales history because that contributes more heavily to your listing quality score. You can always A/B split test it and do, two of the same listing as long as they're all in one shop. It's totally fine.
We get really tired of these constant changes. It's hard enough to deal with making items, fulfillment, shipping, etc., and then having to keep up with all the changes. It's frustrating.
That's why I'm here.
That's one of those suck it up buttercup kind of things.
Yeah.
You're running a business. Things change constantly. Imagine being someone whose job it was to sell things to people in like 1985. Having to survive in the 90s and then the 2000s and then the tweens and then the 2020s. Like the way that you sold 20 years ago is completely different than now. It's always changing. That's why, like, marketing, for instance, Facebook used to be the only place to really do it. Now, it's okay. Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, Twitter. There are so many different platforms out there for marketing depending on what industry. Things are always going to change. And that's the difference between someone who does well in their business and someone who suffers and falls and collapses. It's the same thing we see with the course industry. It's why you see some people come in and do well. Some people do well for about 5 to 10 years and then they collapse because they don't modernize. They don't keep up with the times. They don't keep up with how things work and how marketing works, or the laws. Maybe they get sued, get in trouble. It happens. So you just got to keep up with it. It sucks. We don't like it any more than anybody else.
That's why I always say that
if
you were to take, the species that evolves is the species that survives, right?
Exactly.
And I always say, you could take the very best salesman from the 60s. He could sell anything. Like take your very best 60s salesman, put him in 2022, he'd be useless. He would be absolutely useless because everything has to change and evolve. But that's why we're here, because we know it's hard to keep up with. So we try to keep up with it all for you so that you don't have to focus so much on it. And I try to put things into terms that are so simple that anyone can understand them. Because I know Etsy likes to throw things at us and then we're like, is this good? Is this bad? What does this mean? For example, I'm going to be doing a video on the new payment protection program that they just put into effect, which is not Very good. And that'll be coming out on Tuesday. And I've got a whole rant with that on why I think that it's awful. But yeah.
I saw that, Joanna. And I'm assuming you had a comment you were going to post. She said this is a long one because we made the joke at the beginning of the stream about people complaining about the streams being long.
Oh,
I think she's saying that. I saw you. I got you.
All right. So continuing, let's see. We had another one. Renew. It'll help bring you sales. No, don't do that. Myra said, drop your prices to get lots of sales. One of the things that we commonly see with our, Handmade Alpha Academy students is they get into HAA, they get to our pricing section, and I encourage them that, if they're not happy with their prices or if they're not being paid for their work, or every sale, or if they can't host a sale without it hurting, they need to raise their prices. And everybody's so afraid to do that. And then most of the time when they do, they end up getting more sales because they're perceived as being a more premium brand. Don't compete in pricing, guys. Compete in branding, compete in quality, compete in customer service, compete in packaging. There are so many things that you can compete in. Compete in your social media marketing. Be that brand that your competitors are looking at and they're like, how the heck are they making all this content? Like, be that brand. Don't be that lowball price brand. This is not a yard sale, right? You are making a product. And you are a small business. You're not Walmart. You're not Amazon. So don't compete in pricing.
How do I know if I have a strike against my new shop? I've got an old shop, and that had never had that happen. You probably, if you have a new shop and you're on payment reserve, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a strike against your shop.
All new shops are put on payment reserve. All of them.
Not all of them.
All of them.
Most of them.
I looked it up. All of them.
Oh, is it all of them?
All
okay,
of them.
Then it's different from when I looked it up.
Yeah, it is newer. Not that new, but newer, like within the last year.
We joke if something is not selling, raise the price. It worked for us years ago when we first started.
Mm-hmm. I've done it. Heather said, Etsy is easy and anyone can make a fortune on Etsy. Just list items and they'll sell like crazy. That's the worst advice I've ever heard. Etsy is not for everybody. There are plenty of people who have come to me over the years, family and friends, who have said, hey, I know you're an Etsy coach. I'm thinking about starting an Etsy shop. And I know how they are. And it's not anything against them. Some people aren't meant for this, especially when it's somebody who I know, like if they get a mean message or a crappy review or just a jerk customer, they're not going to be able to handle the stress that comes with that. With Etsy, the unfortunate thing is it's business, baby. You got to grow a backbone because some of these customers are ruthless and they're going to rip you apart and
they are.
Chew you out, and you're going to be so mad and you're not going to know what to do. But you got to be able to push them aside and just say, hey, you know what?
Put on your big boy panties and handle it.
Yeah, you gotta be able to go with the punches. Roll with the punches, go with the flow. So it's not for everybody, and you definitely can't just list products, and we all know why. There's SEO, you got to know photography, you got to be able to write some good descriptions, you have to make sure that your customer service is good, your branding is good, which that's all stuff that we cover here on the channel.
One of my digital shop rivals posted a ton of new stuff. Check rank 200 sales. She then ran a 70% $1 sale. Dropping your prices actually hurts, and it's like you devalue your shop and your work. Yeah,
absolutely.
Meaning she made 200 sales on a day because she put them on a $1 sale. I recommend you probably don't run big sales immediately on new listings. People realize they can wait for the weekend to buy.
Black Friday is the only exception to that. Do not discount brand new products unless
it's Black Friday.
Unless it's Black Friday and you're doing a Black Friday sale, or if you have a special incentive for like email list followers, or you're saying, my VIPs get like an early access discount. That's fine, because that incentivizes them to become lifelong followers of your brand. And those are the people that are going to basically like shout you out on social and advertise for you. And you're going to build a great brand relationship with them. But you price with whatever that special VIP discount is in mind. So you need to assume that everybody who buys is going to use that discount. And then when you get a full price sale, It feels really, really great. It's like Christmas morning.
It said that was the hardest part for us, figuring out our prices. Our items aren't cheap. Nope. I need to get a dice tray. That's the one thing I don't have yet.
Oh yeah, we just got dice. We need a dice tray from you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to order one. If you have a strike against you and Etsy's holding your funds because of it, it'll be on your shop manager / finances. Sadly speaking, from experience. Hey,
Yeah, that's okay though.
You live, you learn. I've seen a lot of people wanting to cancel orders because of a difficult customer. Yeah, it's hard to say. It's one of the things that I had the hardest issue with. Was
I've done it.
Separating. Yeah, you can do it sometimes, but separating your personal self from your business self and realizing that some people are just frustrating.
They don't realize that they're frustrating, and they're not trying to be frustrating, but they're just not good at talking when it comes to online communications.
Exactly. So sometimes you have to distance yourself from your personal self. Sometimes that sale is worth it. Sometimes the sale is not worth it. If somebody feels like they're going to be too toxic or they're going to be a return customer that you don't want to deal with, cancel their order. Ban them, quote unquote. You can't officially ban customers.
Fire them.
Fire them. Fire
Yes.
your customers. Refuse to sell to that person. Don't be a jerk about it. But if someone is so bad that they're causing you a ridiculous amount of stress, or maybe you do custom orders and they're never happy with what you do, you have the right to say no.
Yeah, and you can do so politely. I would recommend saying something like, unfortunately, I fear that I'm not going to be able to meet your expectations with this order. Because of that, I have decided to refund you, and I hope that you can find further success on, whatever it is that you're looking for. Let's keep going real quick. Kalina said, the worst advice I have ever heard is probably, you can sell anything you make. Then shops look like a garage sale. Yes, I'm very anti-commodity shop for many, many reasons. First of all, if you don't tell people what you want to be known for, they're not going to know what to remember you for. So if you sell everything, just like Walmart does, what is it that you specialize in? What are you the expert in? If you're not the expert in anything, then I'm not going to remember you for anything.
Exactly.
Other reason is consistency with your SEO. Etsy likes to group things together when they know what you want to be known for. So if you sell only handbags and everything that you list is some type of handbag or a wallet or things that go with handbags, and you can get handbag across a bunch of your listings on Etsy, Etsy knows, okay, this person wants to be known for handbags, and this lady over here is shopping for handbags, so we're going to show her this handbag shop. And it doesn't mean that you have to sell all the same thing, but can you find a cohesive, similar element that ties a lot of your items together? Not all of them, but I would say a good majority. For example, Amber Marie, she does pet portraits, and she sells them on mugs and cards and blankets and all kinds of things. And she's not known for mugs and cards and blankets. She's known for pet portraits. And that's what Etsy shows her for in search. Pet portraits. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm working on a new collection of notions for my shop.
Okay.
Researching other shops. Their descriptions are one paragraph. I wrote 3 to 4 paragraphs, so I hope my SEO research puts me higher than them. As of right now, descriptions hold very, 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 very little weight, and I think, and this is just an opinion because we don't have the ability to prove it just yet, I think it is going to be more of a contextual thing. It's looking for things, I think, like colors, sizes, and more specific things. So it's not necessarily, in my opinion, I don't think they're using it for ranking as much as they are for ordering, if that makes sense. So like if you sell the exact same kind of product as one other person, but maybe this person uses a black leather band and you use a silver chain, maybe the thing that the person specifically put was silver chain, so it's going to put that one before this one. Again, it's entirely subjective, but that's the running opinion that we have. We ran some tests with Anthony from eRank.
It's in the video that I mentioned, the Etsy algorithm update video.
There's not really a lot that it's doing yet. We know that it's not carrying any actual weight. Your titles and your tags are still the number one.
Yeah.
Don't completely discount it. The thing is, if you're writing a good description, it's going to be keyword optimized anyway. Hopefully. So again, not copying and pasting your title in, but trying to use words that are in your title, in your description, in a tasteful way that doesn't make it sound like just word jumble.
Right. This mug is a mug that's great for anyone who needs a mug.
Yes. So be specific and sound like you are a coherent human being who can write sentences.
Absolutely.
And you're good. You're gold.
Kimberly said, I just heard this one a few days ago. It was popular in 2009 or so, but I guess it's coming back. Join Etsy groups so you all favor each other's shops. That will show Etsy your shop is popular. I guess with the non-shopping crowd.
It's called a like ladder. And
Ladders.
And it hurts you more than it helps you.
It's not that it even really hurts you.
It's a waste of time.
It's a waste of
which
time.
Which hurts you. You need your time.
Yeah, it's basically not going to do anything because it's so easy to game, and Etsy knows that. Now, what Etsy does tell us is that if somebody is shopping organically on Etsy for, maybe they're searching for a sterling silver necklace and they stumble across your sterling silver necklace organically in search and they favor it, that, Etsy says, has a small impact on our listing quality. Small. Which means that you don't need to waste time telling all your friends and family to search for your keywords and find you in search and favorite. That's don't do that. That's such a waste of time. But if you funnel people directly to your shop and directly to your listings, Etsy can see where they came from. Etsy can see exactly where that traffic came from, and they know that you sent that traffic or that you were featured somewhere. And because that would be way too easy to game, it's not going to hold any weight on your actual search placement. So it's a waste of time. And we do have a lot of people who are like, oh, and I got featured by BuzzFeed and now everybody went and liked my shop and it's hurting my conversion rate. Your conversion rate also doesn't have weight on your search placement. This was in one of our E-Rank blogs and we just edited it. It was a guest blog, so we had to go in and edit that part out because a couple of you had brought it to my attention that E-Rank had said that.
We didn't know.
we didn't know.
I don't read the blogs.
We went in and edited that. So it's not necessarily the conversion rate. A sale does help. So sales do help your listing quality.
Well, of course.
But
Etsy said, you made me money. Here's a little bit of help.
Yeah, exactly. But the actual conversion rate that you see in your shop, no, that's not going to have any actual weight on your search placement.
A decade ago, I used to rah-rah. Oh, man. You're going to give me PTSD for that new Joker movie. I used to rah-rah encourage anyone to start an Etsy shop these days. Or these days, if anyone asks if they should, I have a whole list of it's hard work warnings. I tell them first. Yeah, exactly. It's not just a get-rich-quick scheme.
No.
Yeah, and if you hadn't heard, Lady Gaga is going to be in the new Joker movie, and it's going to be partly a musical. So take that for what it is.
I'm fine with the Lady Gaga part, but the musical part has me way thrown off.
He's insane. I think it's going to be similar to how the whole last movie was like a flashback kind of thing, or like inside of his head.
It's in his psychosis.
And I think it's going to be like because it's going to be, she announced her being in the movie doing a musical thing on her social media.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be like he's having a psychotic meltdown and everything is a musical happening, but it's not really happening that way.
I'm fine with her. I think Lady Gaga is insanely smart, and she has some great business quotes.
I mean, that last Joker movie was one of the best movies I've ever seen, so...
All right.
Anyway, continuing. Sorry, I get on rants.
Carrie said, don't use all the same tags or you're competing against yourself. Oh my God, guys. This is my least favorite piece of like Etsy myth that I've ever heard because anyone can go disprove it right now. You cannot compete with yourself on Etsy.
No.
Using the same keywords across multiple listings is good. So competing yourself with yourself on Etsy would assume that you can only show up once in a single search for one of your products. So those listings would compete for that space. That's not true. You can search for a niche product that you know that there's a shop like in the industry that like dominates and look on the front page of that search. And oftentimes you'll see them listed multiple times. And isn't that what you want? Don't you want, if somebody's searching for sterling silver necklace and you only sell sterling silver necklaces, wouldn't you want to be all over those search pages? That's a good thing.
A sale is a freaking sale.
It's a good
It might not
thing.
be it might be a $30 sale instead of a $50 sale, but like it's a sale, so you made money and your shop got a little boost. I don't know.
Yeah. That one, I hear it all the time. It's been going around forever. So
I wanted wheat bread, not rye. Shut up. You still got a sandwich.
All right. Next one was throat cracked. Next one was Barbara. She said, and this could apply to so many things. It's okay because everyone does it. I'm assuming you're primarily meaning copyright. Sure, lots of people are doing it.
Yeah, we discussed this at the beginning of the live stream.
Doesn't mean it's okay.
Yeah, again, a lot of people sell heroin and get away with it. Doesn't necessarily mean that selling heroin is a good thing to do.
It's illegal. Not Etsy
Not
rules.
against the rules. It's against the law in the majority of the planet.
Fan art is illegal. You can make it for yourself. You can sell it with a license. But if you are selling it without a license, you are breaking the law.
And there is a difference between doing a parody for fun and selling a parody. You still have to have the license right to sell something that is a parody.
Well, actually,
technically, there's a gray line there.
Yes.
We've discussed this before. Parody is a very fine gray line.
Etsy doesn't care, though.
Etsy doesn't care, and the viewpoint that's best to take is if, let's say you drew Mickey Mouse, if Disney were to come after you, could you afford a lawyer that could beat theirs? And this goes for any form of parody. Could you beat Nickelodeon's or Cartoon Network's or Comedy Central or MTV's people in court? Could you prove that yours was a legitimate parody when fighting against a multi-billion-dollar organization's lawyer? The answer is always going to be no. And if it isn't no, then why are you selling on Etsy? So don't do copyright stuff. Don't steal from people's IPs.
Yeah.
If you have, you can get permission. Most organizations you're not going to be able to get it from, but like book authors and stuff like that. There are tons of people that will give you rights. You could even, if you want to do Harry Potter stuff, reach out to Warner Brothers.
You're not going to
get a response.
You're not going to get it.
I mean, if you build a... I mean, the thing is, that's not necessarily true. We've got Rhinus Leatherworks here. They've been on a TV show. If you build your social media up and you build your business up big enough that somebody might actually be able to make money working with you, maybe. But you have to be a lucrative investment on their part, right? You have to be worth giving that IP to. Chances are, if you're a new shop, barely made any sales, no one's going to give you their IP.
And I'm currently in the process of requesting a license from a large publishing company that Amber and I, we do a podcast for one of the books within this publishing company. And I am trying to license with them to be able to sell merchandise. So once I have a little bit more information about how the process worked, I might be willing to share that with you. Other people, I know that Sarah Maas, we have several alphas who I've told them, like, go get a license from Sarah Maas, who wrote Court of Thorns and Roses, Crescent City, and Throne of Glass series. Her license is relatively easy to obtain right now. But there's going to be a Hulu. Yeah, there's going to be a Hulu adaptation very, very soon of A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I have a feeling that after that happens, it's going to be very hard to get a license. So if you are in the bookish realm, get your licenses from her as soon as possible. But she's not that, I mean, she's big, but she's not Harry Potter big yet. So
Elva, you still here? You got any more news on your upcoming thing?
Yeah.
Let me get through a couple of comments first. You keep going through these, but we're stacking.
Okay.
Stacking. About price, I knit my products. My price is in high range, what is available on Etsy, but is coming like I've paid lower wage. I'm scared to put more up because I will be the most expensive.
Do it with a couple listings. Just do it. Start small. Start with a few and see if you notice a difference. And make sure that your photos are better than the photos of your competitors. That is one of the ways that you can justify premium pricing. If you have premium photos, it justifies premium pricing. So
we're making prototypes, working on leather wings right now and the armor. I'm so freaking excited.
I told Amber.
Keep me up to date.
Yeah,
I'm so freaking excited.
I told Amber Marie, and she was like, ah. She freaked out.
It's easier to turn down an order if you can recommend another shop where they can look. That's true.
I've done that too.
You don't have to do that, but
I've totally done that. I've been like, you can shop from my competitor. Not in those words, but
I started my Etsy in July. I have 4 sales, but it's only family. It's hard to get clients. What tips do you have for new Etsy sellers? I would go back through and watch all of our previous videos. Find subjects that interest you and start that way.
I've got a video, I think, about from a couple weeks ago, like how to be successful on Etsy. and it was geared for beginners. I've got so many videos. Start with the short ones from like the last few months. There are so many. Everything that you need to know is there.
Do listings get a boost at the beginning and end of a promotion? Trying to figure out if there's an optimum length of time to run coupons. I don't believe so, no.
Nope. They do not. You can get a boost if you start making sales and Etsy notices that those listings are selling. Those listings will technically rank higher because Etsy wants to show them to more people if they're selling. But the sale itself isn't what is helping.
I'm having problems creating an order for a customer in the Philippines, and it's only showing U.S. even with a new profile. I quit shipping international years ago because of the prices. You'll have to get with Etsy support for that one. I can't help you there.
Either that or try out Pirate Ship or ShipStation. That's, an alternative if you're struggling with the actual printing of the label.
I started my shop about 3 months ago, but I haven't made a sale yet. I make items that are sublimated, shirts, tumblers, pens, and coasters. Should I make separate shops?
More double shops doesn't mean double money. Double shops means double work. My advice would be, is there anything cohesive about what you sell?
Or are you just like thrift shop selling?
Yeah. Do you have something that ties it all together? Like maybe a shop for busy moms, everything that busy moms need, busy tumblers for busy moms, shirts for busy moms and their families, bags for busy moms, but busy moms is the overarching theme. Can you categorize it by theme? That's where I would start. And obviously get on social media as well. That's you want to make sure that you're promoting. Guys, if you don't know how to get started on social media, for one, start on Instagram. Right now, the water is very warm on Instagram. There is speculation that the Instagram format that has been kind of moving towards TikTok will be going away because a lot of people protested that
Yes.
Instagram was becoming a TikTok clone.
Instagram's going to be unpredictable over the next couple of months, so this might be the only chance that you have to jump on it before it goes cold, because their decisions could screw their whole platform in the coming months.
So down below, if you want to take advantage of Instagram while it's still accessible to your target audience, I would recommend getting my free 30-day Instagram challenge kit down below. That comes with calendars and content ideas and a planner and a schedule to follow and recommended posting days and everything that you need. And it comes with a Facebook support group where you can chat with other people taking the challenge. Get that. It is completely free, and start promoting your shops on Instagram. Instagram is where it's at right now. Who knows what it's going to look like if they take away these abilities to, where reels are being shown to people who don't already follow you. This is like, I loved that feature. And a lot of people didn't like it because they said that, Instagram was a place to share photos. And they want the videos to be less priority. So let's take advantage of it while we have it. Okay?
Do lurkers hurt your shop? For example, my mom visits my shop frequently just to see if I've made new sales. No, they don't.
Nope.
They don't affect
Not
you.
at all.
People looking at your shop is fine. I guess I should clarify, does that shopper behavior hurt your listing or shop quality score?
Nope.
No.
Not at all.
Excuse me. Also, larger licensing contracts require a minimum money amount per year to be handed over to them no matter what you actually sold. And it's different from company to company. Some people don't ask for anything.
Moz asks for, I think Sarah Moz asks for a percentage of sales, and they have to
Yes.
approve every item that you have to actually get the items approved that you're selling.
It costs a lot of money to get a license. It's basically impossible for a small shop.
That's not true.
It's not impossible. It just depends on the IP that you're going for, but there's a reason for that. As somebody who has the rights to sell an IP, you are a part of that brand image, right? So you are contributing, which means that you are part of that brand in some way, shape, or form. So if you are a newer shop, they don't know you, they don't know anything about you, they don't know what your morals are, they don't know what your advertising is going to look like. Maybe you sell their product for a couple of years and then it turns out you're anti-Semitic and you make a big anti-Semitic statement and that comment goes back to them. They only want to trust companies who are successful, because if you're successful, you probably have a footprint. You have a path that they can look down. They can see what kind of person you are. They can see what kind of company you are. They can see what you do, how you market, what you market. and they can make sure that they're not going to get screwed in the long run. And of course, you're probably not anti-Semitic, right? But they don't know. And that kind of stuff happens all the time, where companies just randomly get involved in politics and turn out to be crappy people and then burn their companies to the ground. Happens all the time. So that's pretty much what they're trying to prevent. They own the property to something, and they don't want to give you rights to sell that property unless they know that you are going to be a valuable asset to their company, whether that's financially, through advertising, bringing a new fan base that they didn't have before. Twilight's big with that, selling stuff at like Hot Topic and stuff like that, and doing crazy collections even now just
Twilight
to reboost.
products are back at Hot Topic, guys.
Yeah, so don't be upset if they turn you down or flat out ignore you. You're just not a big enough brand for them to want to work with you yet. You don't hold any value to them.
Depending on who you're reaching out to.
Exactly.
I've been running my podcast for like a year now.
Sarah Moss, she's just cool to have anybody pushing her brand that's
Sarah
worth
Moss.
pushing the brand because it's a new product.
Sarah Moss is cool. I'll let you guys know what licensing. It's through Entangled Teen Publishing. I'll let you know what, when if I can get licensed by them, I'll let you know what that process looks like. I'm in communication with them right now. And I'll let you know how much I pay if I have to pay anything.
All right. You want to continue with your thing?
Yeah. We've only got a couple left, so let's.
All right, yeah, let's try to rush through it because it's almost 1 o'clock already.
Okay. 𝔸𝕚𝕚𝕚 was told to copy my competitors' titles, tags, and descriptions and try to stage my photos like them as well. But in the same post, they also told me I can't repeat tags or I'll be competing with myself. You can't compete with yourself. So here's the thing. There have been a lot of people, including Etsy coaches, who have, on YouTube, told the public that, in theory, if I go to this top-selling shop and take their exact title and their exact description and their exact tags, I should be able to rank in search higher than, or at, right beside them. That's not true. Listing quality is the thing that makes you rank. You gotta have all of your ducks in a row. You've got to have good SEO. Etsy has to know what you want to be known for in order to rank you. And you do get a small boost when you first list a product, but you have to be able to make sure that your listing is actually of interest to shoppers. It's not just about the keywords. Listing quality is the thing that you have to build. And listing quality, there are so many factors that contribute to it. I've got a free workshop down below if you want to get into the science of how the Etsy algorithm works in a really fun way with lots of cartoons and graphics. I have a complete animated workshop that is totally free down below that will teach you step by step exactly how the algorithm works. One disclaimer, the workshop still says that descriptions hold no weight because I made it before they did and now they do. So, and that hasn't been updated, but you guys know now descriptions do hold weight. But with that being said, it's not just keywords. There's so many other factors. So copying what your competitors are doing, sure, it's totally fine to say, hey, my competitor's getting a lot of traffic from this specific keyword. I'm going to test it, in my own shop. That's totally fine. Do that. But don't copy their exact titles and tags. For one, if they see you doing it, they're going to feel really gross about you. For two, you're not going to see the success that you think you're going to see. So, yeah.
All right, continue.
Yeah. Let's see. Next one was from Jimmy. Jimmy, you're here, aren't you? Jimmy. It's okay to use trademark and copyright items because they never enforce it. That's not true. It's not Etsy's job to enforce it.
They absolutely do enforce it.
Etsy can't technically, well, Etsy does enforce it, but Etsy can't take your listing down. Etsy can take your listing down. Etsy can't report your listing. Only the copyright holder can dispute your listing, and then Etsy will take action against that listing and take it down. So even
platforms cannot enforce copyright on behalf of someone else.
Exactly. So even if you're like, I keep reporting this shop for selling Disney, Etsy doesn't care about that. You don't own Disney. Etsy needs it from Disney. And what Disney likes to do is sit and watch a shop And
Lurkers.
they lurk and they wait until they see that you've made a decent amount of money.
They don't even have to do that
Then they
anymore.
strike.
They don't even have to do that anymore. The new reporting platform has made it easy. You just pop a search term in, and it will show you every listing on the platform that contains that search term. And then they can just go through get, and they can take the whole frickin' site down.
Yep. Check my video from it was a few months ago called Etsy Copyright Crackdown. That's the new IP reporting portal that has made it easier than ever for big brands to come after you. So,
Get Shrek'd, son.
gotta be careful. Jill said, favorite everyone in the group's items, and they favorite yours.
Like ladders, we
Yep.
already went through that.
Yep, like ladders don't work. Logan said, shipping deadlines aren't that important as long as you eventually get the item out.
In a world where Amazon exists, regardless of how you feel about Amazon, I'm not a Bezos boy myself. Regardless of how you feel about Amazon, they exist, and people are frickin' spoiled. They are spoiled.
Spoiled.
If you have a product that can be shipped like the next day, obviously you can't get it to them next day. If you have a product that is ready to go and can be shipped the next day, and you're physically capable of doing so, you should ship your products as soon as you're capable of shipping your products. Not a like, oh, I'm going to cook a fancy dinner tonight and maybe I'll ship it tomorrow. No. Ship the products, then if you got time for the fancy dinner, then that can wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, people are spoiled. People are going to complain, and if you wait one day over what they're expecting, your chances of getting a bad review are exponentially greater. Even if you ship within the window in which you say you ship within, there's still an opportunity to get a bad review. So ship as soon as you can.
I made a video about running a business with anxiety a couple weeks ago. And in that video, I talk about, like, it's okay to take days off. It's okay to have downtime. And then in the video, I'm like, but if you have orders to ship, doesn't matter, you get those orders out. Because nothing is worse for your anxiety than a customer messaging you and saying, where's my order? Like, right?
Johnny said Bezos boys unite. I got Prime. I'm not afraid to admit it. I got Prime. Sometimes I need stuff next day. I got tech.
You know what you guys can get next day on Amazon Prime? My book. You can go buy it right now. You can get it Amazon Prime right to your doorstep.
Shameless plug.
Parented by Amazon. Search The Channel by Starla 𝔸𝕚𝕝𝕒𝕟. It's a magical adventure that will fill your weekend with joy.
And it's actually a pretty decent book. It's all right.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
She also said, also keeping items in stock when you don't have enough material to complete the order. So
Don't do that.
So you either cancel or delay shipment while you wait for more stock.
My thought process is if you're going to be adding items to your shop, and with your quantities, if someone were to say, I don't know, maybe a TV show wants to buy props for a set. Maybe you sell tumblers or something. They're doing like a average white family in the suburbs TV show, and they need a bunch of tumblers. And somebody just goes through your shop and buys 60 of them because you had 60 of them listed. And you really only had like 5 of them, and it's going to take you like 3 weeks to make up the rest of that stock. Are you going to be able to do that in a feasible amount of time, or are you screwed and you're going to get a bunch of bad reviews and you're going to get reported and your shop's going to get shut down? Be smart about how you list your products. Continue.
Yes. All right, I'll skip because a couple of these are just kind of
Repeats,
restated.
yeah.
Amber said, if you can't get something shipped on time, just print out the shipping label. You can. So that was its own thing. Like, print out the shipping label so that the customer gets the notification that the item has shipped, even if it hasn't. Now, I will say that there have been plenty of occasions where I've printed my label and went to the post office, and then they closed early that day. Mm-hmm. Then I'm super mad.
Our post office loves to close an hour early without notice.
Yeah. So
I love it.
If it happens by accident, it's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make a habit of it, though.
Yeah. Take a picture of the frickin' sign where it says they're supposed to be open and the little like closed sign right above it.
Yeah.
Send it to them. Be like, yeah, my post office closed early today for some reason. Sorry.
Another one she added was, you can still sell copyright stuff if you don't put it in your title or tags.
No.
You can still do drugs as long as you don't do them in front of a cop. Like, what? No.
But if you're going to, you should, because that's how alphas do it.
No.
I'm just kidding. I don't advocate doing drugs unless it's legal in your area. Or if you're in Oregon, I guess, then just do whatever you want.
Let's see. And then Anna said to join Etsy seller groups on Facebook and post my products there for marketing. I honestly think if someone describes their target customers as Etsy buyers, they are not in it for the long haul. And that's a good one. Your target customer is a very specific type of person. It is not an Etsy buyer. If your target customer, if your target customer is Etsy buyer, you need to like reevaluate. Okay,
and check your microaggressions. What's an Etsy buyer? Are you profiling me right now?
Yeah, like everybody can be an Etsy buyer, so you gotta niche it down. Is it the busy mom who wears Nikes and goes to Starbucks every morning, and she goes for her spin class at 5 p.m. and then meets the girls for kale smoothies? Is that your target audience, or is your target audience Greg, who lives down home on the farm and he values good American television and trucks? And
I'm going to say he's probably not shopping on Etsy. That's fine.
He might be.
His wife is probably shopping on Etsy. Anyway.
But you have to be able to know who you're selling to, and Etsy buyers is not it. So we just finished all of them. You guys are free to keep submitting them in the threads. They're in the student campus and in the Handmade Alpha Facebook community, which is also linked down below if you're not already a member. Feel free to keep adding them to the thread. It's obviously they won't be covered in the video, but you guys are free to keep sharing your stories because I like reading them.
How prolific is bot viewing on Etsy products? I'm seeing views over one day go 250, 20 the next day 160.
Etsy filters them out after 24 hours.
Yeah, they're supposed to filter them out after 24 hours. Sometimes it can take a little bit longer for the numbers to actually drop, but
now, if
bot content's not going to hurt you.
If you're viewing it from Google Analytics, their like bot filters are better than Etsy's.
Yes.
So,
they catalog IP addresses and things. So if traffic comes from a known bot IP, it's automatically just filtered out.
Yeah, so Google Analytics is kind of a workaround if you're noticing that like it doesn't feel right, because they're obviously Google is going to be more powerful than Etsy. But for the most part, Etsy does a pretty decent job of filtering bot content out within 24 hours. It's why you'll see like, you might see a bunch of views and then for some reason the views just disappear. And you're like, what happened? They weren't real views anyway.
Would it be a bad idea if I started my Etsy shop now? I only have one item and I'm working on more designs. I figure one to start is better than none, and going along with the alpha program. If I were someone who was going to sell on Etsy that bought HAA, I would probably go through it once before I did anything else. And it's going to be different for everybody. Everybody's got their own preference, just how I view it. I would go through it once and then go through it again and follow it step by step. I mean, that's, to me, the best way. That way you don't miss anything, especially being a new seller. You don't know the ins and outs. At least the first couple of modules that really get you started into it on how to start a shop proper.
Martha, did you already join our June enrollment, or are you waiting until December 1st to enroll? If you're waiting until December to enroll, go ahead and get your products up. Don't wait to list things. Even if you don't do it perfectly, you can go back and fix it when you get in HAA. Right now, at this point, done is better than perfect when it comes to getting your shops listed, because the holiday season is right around the corner.
So either way, it's up to you. If you can pound through it fast and get your stuff ready, at least for Black Friday coming up.
With the free content that we have here on the channel?
That would be best case. If you are a new seller, I do it the way that you're most comfortable with doing it. Getting a product out there and getting your shop started is the only way you're going to build a shop quality score, right? Or listing quality score. So do what you want to do. Go through it. I would go through it a couple of times, at least the modules in the beginning that teach you the very basics on how to do things. You can always improve your stuff as long as you're doing everything that you can to follow the rules from the get-go. You're taking somewhat decent pictures and you're doing the basics to prevent yourself from getting a bad review or turning people off from your shop, then you're good.
Yeah. Just if you're not in HAA yet, there's so much free content on my YouTube channel. Most people get by.
She said she already joined.
Okay, great.
Yeah. I would still try to get it done by Black Friday, but before Black Friday, so you have enough time to market for it.
Yeah, work through HAA now, and you could totally just get that. In HAA, I teach you how to get your shop started. If you don't already have one started, that's like a bonus lesson. The one listing that you do have that's ready to go ahead and put it in your shop until you can get your actual collection going. But definitely get it rolling, because I would hate to see you miss out on that holiday season, which is right around the corner.
All right, we got a big one.
Let's do it.
She's got like 6.
All right, Joanna.
Last week, I got the dreaded email about the infringement claim from a company that I copied them for a listing that is my top seller that I've designed and made myself. What sucked is Etsy sent me a link to show proof of what they're claiming I copied, and it was a website that's not even open yet. Said coming soon. I feel Etsy failed at their job screening this claim that I copied someone else's work or idea. Etsy sent me to nowhere. I typed in the name of the business in Etsy and how I was not surprised that they're actually a seller on Etsy, and the listing they claim I copied is also their best seller. So she's trying to eliminate competition. It took me 2 seconds to figure it out. Our listings are different in every way. Mine is wood, hers is acrylic, mine is engraved, and hers is painted. The phrases used are different and they're not trademarked. I checked, so I filled out the forms to fight it, and the company, aka seller, on Etsy dropped the claim within a 2-day. It got cut off. I really wanted to email Etsy to tell them that there's some serious fails in their new policies for sellers claiming copyright. Is it worth my time? No, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I would keep record of everything just in case in the future this competitor decides to get crappy and you actually have to take it to like a court. Because at that point, if it becomes a consistent thing, it's harassment, right? They're harassing you, especially if you can prove that your product came out first. Because if your product comes out first, it doesn't matter what they do. If they've trademarked, you can fight their trademark, right? If you have a product, especially if it has the same name as their product, which I think you said it doesn't have the same name. If you have a product and you can prove that you made it before them, then you made it before them. It doesn't matter if they copyright or trademark or do whatever with it. You made it first, right? So keep record of everything in case they do decide to get crappy with you. Never know if they might explode, get shared somewhere that you didn't get shared, and end up being a bigger company than you. They might come after you again. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't worry about Etsy.
Yeah, as long as you've got the resolution that you needed, I would say that. I mean, if you want to bring it to Etsy's attention, just I can feel that you're probably emotionally attached to this because you're upset. Mm-hmm. If you bring it to Etsy's attention, it wouldn't be there is a flaw in your system. It would be I would like to bring to your attention my experiences, yada yada. I would make sure that you're framing it in a way that is very polite, because what I have noticed is that Etsy support doesn't read concerns that come off as upset.
They're probably just going to ignore your message to begin with. It's better just to not waste your time. Try to let it go. Keep evidence in case it happens again in the future, because the chances are pretty high if they end up becoming big. Yeah,
there's way more up top though. Don't start there because you read from her first one.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. I'm just trying to get through it. I have 2 shops, products I make with laser and digitals for laser makers that I draw and occasionally sell on my product shop. It's absolutely double the work and never double the pay. Yeah, absolutely. I'm always big if you do like print on demand, any designs that you decide to not use print on demand, just stick in a second shop for digital and you can sell them as a digital product because you're not having to do double the work. Working on Hanukkah now, is it better to offer one type of beaded bracelet with using blue metallic beads, or can I offer another with chain and wire wrapped beads and charms? Does that confuse customers? No.
Why would it confuse customers?
If they're too totally...
Are you using them as like variations on a listing? I would make sure that they're listed separately, but shouldn't confuse customers. They're different things. Should be fine.
I hand paint watercolor art of homes and other things, but my biggest competitors digitally create the same thing for way cheaper. Is there anything I can do beyond making a video painting?
Everything that you do, especially on social media, talk about how you do everything by hand. Photos of yourself painting, video of yourself painting, making sure that in your listing videos you have yourself painting. Even if you are making prints of the original painting, show yourself actually painting the original. And then all on social media, I want you to just non-stop post about you painting. You are the artist. Let's think about Thomas Kincaid, who also painted, homes and landscapes and things. Thomas Kincaid is known for being a painter, or was. He's not alive anymore. But Thomas Kincaid was known as an artist who represented himself. You know his name, you know what he did. You can think of one of his pieces. Thomas Kincaid, we know, did everything by hand. He wasn't designing things digitally. You have to represent yourself when you are an artist in an industry where art is often created digitally. You have to be able to express across everything that you do why yours is unique. So representing yourself as an artist and making sure that you have a lot of different channels where you can spread the word of why your art is different than everybody else's.
I mean, realistically, if you're doing them hand painted, they're only marginally your competition, right? Your competition are going to be other hand painted paintings. They make a similar product to you, but not the same product as you. The big deal is that you hand paint them. So I wouldn't think too much about them. I would focus more on other people that do hand painted things, because they're going to be more close to your real competition. If you've had good sales with a specifically seasonal item, will Etsy remember that activity when the season comes around again, or is there a shelf life on activity?
So that's a good question, and we don't really have an answer that is based on anything sourceable.
I don't think that's too out there to really have a good answer for.
So here's a couple things to consider. Etsy will know that listing is sold in the past, even if it hasn't sold in a while. If there are any reviews for that item, those reviews will show up under that item, which also send positive signals to Etsy. I would assume that if every December or we'll say every November, you have a Christmas ornament that sells, I would assume that Etsy would take note of the fact that the item is seasonal, especially if you would put in seasonal keywords and your attributes are seasonal, that Etsy's algorithm would be smart enough to know that item is seasonal and that there's a specific time frame of relevance for that product because it is listed based on that season. And therefore, because there is a sales history for that item, that would be maintained. So I'm going to say that it's probably better to keep that singular listing that you've already had a little bit of history on rather than creating a new listing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because starting from zero is going to be harder than starting with a listing that does have a track record. But you can always split test it. You could always take one listing that sells well every, we'll say, November, and make a copy of it and see if the copy does better, and then delete whichever one ends up not doing as well. But compare them and then let us know what results you see, because I would be curious to know.
All right, we'll go ahead and lightning round. We got about 15 minutes.
Okay.
I got approved for Range Me for a meeting with a buyer with a local grocery store. I've never done a sales pitch before. Do you have any tips or advice on how to do a pitch?
Go in with confidence. Make sure that you know exactly what you want out of the deal, what your expectations are. Make sure that you thank them for their time. Make sure that you have everything that you want to discuss already written down. It is perfectly okay to go into a pitch meeting with notes. I would not read directly from a piece of paper, but give yourself a couple brief bullet points, like 4 or 5 little points that you can spitball off of. And make sure that you are, just being yourself and being polite. And
it's a job interview for your product.
It's a job interview for your product. Yep. Aside from that, every pitch that I do is typically on email or Zoom meeting. I've never really pitched in person. And don't get discouraged if your pitch doesn't go well.
And I mean, it depends on what kind of product you're selling to them as well. Like, does it provide a value to their store? Is there any kind of point specifically that you can bring up that matters? Like,
outline how you can help them. Prioritize that, because that's all they care about. They want to know how you are going to bring value to them. Yeah.
Have you heard anything about Facebook and Reels?
Reels get tossed on Facebook. They don't get tossed on our profiles on Facebook for some reason. They just get thrown into the Facebook Reels nether, and then if somebody clicks on the name, like, it'll take them to your Instagram. It's really weird. I haven't heard any news about it. If there's something going around though.
I use eRank. Does it help getting the tags from higher ranking items?
Yeah. If you go into the keyword tool and you type in silver necklace and you scroll down, you'll see the top ranking items for that keyword, and you'll also see all the tags that those competitors are using for those listings.
We've got videos on specifics on SEO in the channel. If you search just the term SEO, and all our most recent videos will pop up.
Absolutely.
Never put text in your images because Google doesn't like that. We don't care what Google likes. We're selling on Etsy.
Yeah, I don't care what Google likes. Google doesn't like text on images. They also don't like...
It doesn't. They also don't like anything other than plain white white backgrounds.
Watermarks. They don't like watermarks either.
Nope, because it's usually a form of text.
Yeah. So
Google's algorithm likes things that it can identify. If it cannot identify what's going on in the image, because your text, are you selling? It's an algorithm, right? Are you selling text? Are you selling pictures, or are you selling the thing in the picture? It makes it harder, so Google just ignores it. That's why I prefer vacation mode over extending ship times. Customers don't care if you posted ship time is 3 weeks. They want it yesterday. It's not worth the nasty emails. Yeah, it's not good for your mental health.
Just depends on how long you're going on vacation, I suppose.
My post office has a self-scan and drop-off box, so I like to go in my PJs now after hours. Yeah, that's as long as your package isn't too big or something that can be damaged by if somebody goes in there and throws their like
giant
50-pound small lead weight on top of your package, you know?
That's always my paranoia. I ship. I've been shipping my books like a lot lately because I'm doing signed editions of my books. And I always make sure that I put them on the counter. Not that they're not going to just get tossed in a cart in the back the exact same way, but I always have that paranoia that if I throw them in the big, like, overnight drop box, that they're just going to get squished.
On Facebook, someone said that a shop stole her design, not photos, and she contacted and reported them to Etsy, and Etsy removed that person's listing. I see many similar items, so that confuses me. I mean, I'm sure it happens from time to time. It depends on who it is. You got to consider that not everybody's been working for Etsy for a long time, and not everybody working for Etsy is good at their job. Sometimes you're going to end up getting the one stinker that's like, yep, that's similar, delete, and that's going to happen. It's your job to fight it with Etsy and provide evidence that you've had it longer.
Sometimes Etsy makes decisions that are stupid.
That's a company. All companies make decisions that are stupid.
Yeah,
like Instagram.
Sharon had a case where she had amber jewelry that Etsy reinstated over and over because it didn't fit their like size for the amber beads that aren't allowed. But then she got one cruddy Etsy support person who wouldn't reinstate her listing and basically closed off communication and said that she couldn't message them again. So,
okay.
Sometimes Etsy can be poo-poo.
And that happened to me for something I ordered off Etsy. As a customer, it was an iPhone case with tracking, stuck in pre-transit for a week out, and the status didn't change till I messaged them.
I hate that.
Yep, it happens. Sometimes, like, they'll drop it on the floor and not know it fell behind the desk or something. I've had that happen so many times. Happens on Amazon, too, for not fulfilled items by other companies.
Yeah.
I started using UPS pickup. No matter how many items I have to ship, it's $3.80. Greatest thing since sliced bread. Yep.
Awesome. Google.
I have seen posts about sellers selling modded Nikes who get takedowns without keywords. The bots looking for copyright infringement are now smart enough to do image analysis to recognize the swoosh. You could probably just use Google reverse image search. You just go in on Google, take a picture of the shoe that you're looking for at the angle, slap it into Google, or Google. You can just drag pictures into Google Images, and it will do the same thing on your computer. And it will search the whole internet for listings and anything else that contain that picture because it's supposed to be a shopping help kind of tool, right? So if it's similar, there's a chance that it could pop. Algorithms are getting pretty smart.
I'm literally looking at my Google Analytics right now and I'm confused by it. Maybe a Friday bean. I don't know. I don't know Google Analytics to save my life. I've got a video on how to set it up, and I only set it up for everybody, or showed everybody how to set it up, so that you can connect it to eRank. Because eRank, as long as you've got your traffic stats, which are on your eRank dashboard connected to your Google Analytics, eRank will pull the important information for you, and they will present it in a way that the average person can understand, so that you don't have to be a smarty pants to be able to look at it and figure out what the heck you're looking at.
It's still your job to interpret it the best way for you, though.
Yeah,
that's the hard part.
Connect your Google Analytics to eRank because it's way easier to understand. Google Analytics is a nightmare.
I had UPS bid for my shipping, but they couldn't compete with Etsy prices except on much heavier items. Has anyone noticed that UPS adjusts your shipping price when using a third-party shipping service? I've been disputing every charge because my box says the size in it.
Haven't heard that one.
I have a tremor in my handshake, but it's on my list to do short videos making something. It's embarrassing for me. I wouldn't focus on that. Obviously, make sure your camera's stabilized so your shaking doesn't affect your camera.
CapCut has a stabilization feature. It's called...
The issue probably isn't camera stabilization. The issue is the hands. It's not going to stabilize your hands on the video.
Okay.
But,
I understand.
Biggest thing is to just not make a point of it. If somebody brings it up, answer it. Don't take it the wrong way.
Nobody's gonna
it's
bring
hard
it up either.
to the internet's the internet. Don't interpret it the wrong way. It's really hard to interpret intent through text when you obviously can't hear inflection, you can't hear tone, that kind of thing. Your choice to acknowledge it, also entirely your choice to ignore it. You don't have to say anything. Nobody's going to make fun of you for it. And if they do, most platforms have the ability to ban people, so it doesn't matter. Don't let it get to you. I know that's hard not having it, but we have our issues too.
My favorite, type in this username into chat. My favorite person to watch for she's so inspiring. Joy Shears from Sheer Joy Scents. She is absolutely amazing. If you know Joy's story, she includes it in all of her Etsy orders, but basically as a child, Joy drowned and died and was revived. And Joy has, she has a really bad tremor. She's so inspiring and her audience absolutely loves her. She is amazing. She's an alpha. Go follow her on Instagram. Mark just put her username in. She's also taking the 30-day Instagram challenge, which is linked down below if you want to keep an eye on what she's doing. If you are ever worried about something like that, look at people who are doing it and allow yourself to be inspired by those who are doing what you want to do. Because most of the time, your shoppers or the people who are viewing your content, not only are they going to understand, they're going to think it's really freaking awesome.
At the end of the
that
day,
you're still doing what you're doing.
When it comes to things like this, it is up to you entirely to let something drag you down or to let it empower you. If it drags you down, the only person dragging you down is yourself. You have to let the things that are wrong with you empower you. And understand that, especially if they're out of your control, that there's nothing you can do about it. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's not something to be embarrassed about. Figure out a way in your own head to let it empower you. If you're doing the videos, even though you're nervous and embarrassed to do it, that's empowering. You stood up and you had the confidence to do something you weren't comfortable with doing. That's a step forward. Anything that's a step forward should be empowering to you. And there are trolls. There, you might have a troll at some point. We get trolls in here. It's how you handle those trolls that matters. Are you going to explode and let it destroy your whole day and never do it again? Or are you going to just ban that person, ignore them, move on because they're so insignificant that they had nothing better to do than to make fun of the fact that you shake a little?
Like, it's such a little thing.
Exactly.
Like, it's such an insignificant thing. But here's the thing. I don't think it's really... I can almost bet you that unless you end up with thousands and thousands and thousands of followers, it's probably not going to happen. People
I wouldn't worry about it.
People are pretty cool. I know that you see a lot of like cruddy stories on the internet, but people are pretty cool. I get a lot of hate on YouTube because I'm a YouTuber, and YouTube tends to be a pretty toxic place at times. But with Instagram, people are usually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the thing, and this applies to just about any of you with anything. Mark, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. No, I mean seriously, like we're at a point now where we're over 26,000 fans. We've had every single thing that you could think said to us, said at us, about us. If you let it hammer you down, they're winning, right? At the end of the day, it's the same thing as like having a bully. If they're saying something and it's affecting you, the only reason it's affecting you is because you're allowing it to affect you. If you have a legitimate issue that you can fix, or it's something that you're doing like you're racist, or like you have the ability to change it. If it's a legitimate criticism, take them to heart. It's the same thing with products and product pictures. We've seen people whose product pictures, they look like butt. They really they look like, again, I like to say, it looks like somebody sneezed on your camera before you took a picture. Wipe the dang lens off, If someone gives you a legitimate criticism, take that legitimate criticism and try to improve. But if it's something that you don't have control over, maybe product pictures of butts. I like pictures of butts. They have their place. But don't let things like that get you down. Okay? Especially just be yourself. There are so many more people out there that will support you than drag you down. And if you have a bunch of people dragging you down, then maybe you're in the wrong community.
Oh, yeah.
That's just how it is. Just like distancing yourself from crappy family members. Anyway, enough motivational talks for the day. I like to get on tangents.
Let's see.
Okay, here we go on this one. Off-topic question. The term Etsy is fire right now on eRank. Is this a term that people are selling Etsy advice, etc.?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
I mean, it could just be. Have you ever gone to Google and you typed in Google? I do it all the time. I'll be like, Google. It might just be a case of people getting on Etsy and they're like, I need to be on Etsy. Oh, wait. So I don't know. I wouldn't optimize your shop for the word Etsy, though. So no idea. No idea. I can ask Anthony.
I don't think you're allowed to do that anyway. Sell Etsy advice on Etsy. I think it has to be an actual. You have to receive a product.
Yeah, you could do it as long as you were selling it in like a PDF.
Sending a video, maybe.
A video, a PDF, something like that. You could do it.
Am I allowed to use a landing page link on my Etsy listings, or will it hurt my listings?
Does that landing page lead them to a location where they can buy your products?
Off of Etsy?
Off of Etsy, if they can.
Because you can't do that.
Yeah, if they can buy products off of that landing page, then nope. If it's a sign-up link for an email list or something like that, totally fine.
Let's see. Oh, and Jill's talking about the Facebook things because they're going to be discontinued.
Oh, I don't think they're discontinuing Reels. I just think that the argument is that the general public doesn't want to see Reels in their timeline from people that they don't follow. Does that make sense? So if you're on the Reels page, that's fine. But I think that what they're disputing is that when they're scrolling through their Instagram feed, they're getting Reels from random people that they don't follow. They want to be able to see content from people that they followed.
I had a request to change colors of a bracelet in an order. I changed it and sent them a photo. It's been 2 days, but no response. If I don't hear from them, should I send the original one from the listing? They asked you to change the color, and I'm assuming you're saying that you changed it as they asked, and that it's been 2 days with no response. I would send them the one that they asked for. And then if they're not happy with it, you have everything that you need to dispute it if you get a bad review.
I would, if I were you, I would continue messaging them. If it's hitting your shipping time, then extend your shipping time, which you can do on the shipping side. Extend it out. Give them about an extra week to respond. Message them every day, and then tell them on the last day, I cannot ship this until I get a confirmation from you. If I don't hear from you by tomorrow, I'm unfortunately going to have to cancel your order.
Yeah.
Cancel and refund them.
You can do that as well.
Yeah.
That's the safest bet. Off topic, I'm working through the bubblegum challenge, and I'm wondering what amount of time you recommend for a live.
So the bubblegum challenge, for those who don't know.
I have no idea what that is.
The Instagram isn't, they can't use the word Instagram in the chat. So I told them to use bubblegum last week.
I'm stupid. I told them to use bubblegum last week.
Okay, so 30-day Instagram challenge. You want to know how long to do a live stream? No, there's no particular time frame. I will say, yeah. If you can do like 30 minutes, that's cool. You know, I don't think that there's a time frame, but people do need time to see that you're live, and I think that 30 minutes to an hour is a decent time frame. An hour might be too long for you, so start with 15 minutes if it's your first time. Work your way up to 20 minutes. See if you can make it to 30 minutes. But, yeah.
We'll go down here to Jennifer's comment down here and call it.
All right.
Today I took the decision to deactivate my amber pendant necklaces.
Yeah.
I don't want to give Etsy any excuse to close my shop down. I just need to find an alternative sales outlet for them.
Yeah. Slap them on eBay. Slap them on Facebook Marketplace. Slap them on your Instagram and tell people that you can do PayPal invoices for them. However you can unload them. That sucks. I'm sorry that you had to resort to that, but Etsy is poo-poo with the amber jewelry right now.
Let's see here. A lot of people stoked on the motivational talks. Your state of mind and your mindset is fully within your control, unless you have like an actual mental condition. Everything with your mental state, unless it's like a financial issue, an actual literal issue, is usually within your control. How you feel people perceive you is within your control. If people perceive you one way because you've acted a certain way, you have the ability to change that. And then their perceptions can change and your mental health can change. Most of your mental health issues are within your control if you don't have a disorder. Sometimes it's a quick fix, sometimes it's a long fix, but it's all within your control. You are the master of your own destiny.
Go back and watch my video called it's called Running a Business with Anxiety, and I'm standing like this with a rainbow going across my hands. Go watch that video. That's like the pep talk that everybody needs, and it also explains how I personally am able to run a very high performance business, or I actually have multiple businesses with what I would consider to be relatively severe anxiety and how I'm able to manage my anxiety without medication. So
I have an anxiety disorder.
yeah, not saying that you need to do it without medication, but it's how I personally manage my anxiety without medication. So some things that you can try to, and it's universal advice. Even if you don't have anxiety or an anxiety disorder, it can still help you.
Can help you with general anxiety. What do you recommend for hashtags for Reels or TikTok to use when promoting your business? I find when I use a lot of business ones, I'm targeting other businesses which technically are not buying.
So first thing is that hashtags on Instagram are not nearly as important as keywords in your description. Keywords are more important than hashtags. I talk about that in the video that I posted last Tuesday, so make sure that you go back and watch that. And yes, if you're using business-related hashtags, you're attracting business people who are using business keywords. You can't, you have to know who your target audience is. So if you are selling, silver boho necklaces, you want to use boho related hashtags or like, hippie life or boho life or, wandering hippie or, you find somebody in your industry, like your ideal customer, find whatever influencers those are who have like tons of fans, someone who you could see wearing your products, and then look at the hashtags that they're using and start there. That's a great place to start. But don't use a bunch of business hashtags because then you're just going to be grouped into businesses, and that's not what you want either.
Can't stand when people don't wipe their lenses. It makes it look foggy and gross, and it's not hard either. Yeah, it just reminds me of like car windows in the 80s where somebody smoked inside of their car. It's yucky. Quit. No,
Give Mark a hug.
I don't want it. Don't touch me.
He's a hug.
Wait, how do you extend shipping time?
You do it in your shipping.
I think they're talking
section.
about how you extend it for an order that's already been placed, because that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, you do it in your shipping, where when you go to your orders that you already have placed, there should be, I can't remember exactly where it is, but there's an option somewhere on that little where the order is, where you can print your shipping label or mark it as shipped. You should have an option to extend, I think it's called extend delivery date, something like that, or shipping date. I can't remember. But it's somewhere there.
Thanks for the uplifting words. I have a bully passive-aggressive coworker at my job. I mean, talk to them.
Talk to them,
and if that doesn't work, I'm sure you have a... What is
HR.
It? HR. Yeah, talk to your HR department. Obviously, don't bug your HR department, because most jobs anymore have a, terminate without reason contract with your employment, so then you can't sue them if it's because you were annoying.
It's all about approach. When you need to approach somebody who makes you feel uncomfortable, you never want to approach someone and say, you always do this. That puts them on the defensive and makes them push back at you.
It's more of a, hey, it makes me very uncomfortable
right.
when you do things like this.
Or when you said this to me, so you're sourcing a specific instance, when you said this to me, it made me feel this way. Because there's two things that can't be disputed: facts and feelings. If you can incorporate an issue with a fact that can be proven and a feeling that you have because your feelings are your truths, then there's no way that they can dispute that.
And especially if it's someone who's genuinely passive aggressive, it's usually better to do that when you're not around other people, because then they'll go on the defensive and they'll hit you again. And that gets other people on their side. So you have to
isolate them.
Yeah. If you've ever dealt with a bully before, if there's other people around, you're just giving them ammunition to fire back. Once you finish live on the Instagram, where does the video go?
I believe that it goes, you have multiple little tabs on your Instagram profile. So you've got your grid, you've got your reels, you've got your places that you've been tagged. Let me go to one where I did a live stream on the channel. Let me see. Explore the channel. Ooh. Explore the channel. Okay. I believe, it's not there anymore. You used to have a separate tab. It might go into your reels tab. I'm honestly not sure. I thought that they used to have a separate one, but maybe they got rid of it. Offhand, I'm not sure. I'm sure that they are on your account. Oh yeah, here we go.
They can't see anything that you're showing them. It's bright.
Oh. I'm not sure offhand. The tab is apparently not there anymore. so I'm not sure.
Me here with PTSD, anxiety, and I just got diagnosed with an adjustment disorder. That's technically what I have. I have change anxiety disorder. It's an adjustment disorder. It's supposed to be a temporary thing from what I've read. I found that to not be the case because I'm going on like 8 years of dealing with it, and it doesn't go away. So I don't know. Links to social media links and my website. However, my website's currently under construction. I'll take it off to play it safe. Thanks for answering my questions. Love your videos.
Love you, Susie Q.
Click on the 3 dots on the right-hand side. Extend shipping date.
Thank you, Jimmy.
There you go.
Sometimes I need to be able to see things, and then when we're live, I have no way to actually see them to be able to convey what I need to. But yes, the little 3 dots. That's usually the answer for anything. If you need to figure out how to do anything technical with anything online, look for 3 dots. If you click 3 dots, you can usually open up some type of settings.
Wasn't it a photography trick to put Vaseline on the lens to create a soft focus? Yeah, I've heard that before. You could also just use a filter.
Use the filter. It'll
pop it into Lightroom, find something with more of a phasey kind of thing, and do it that way. Like something like a Gaussian blur, very light Gauss blur. LOL Mark with smoking in cars. Yeah, you just don't smoke. It's bad for you. You bully people that smoke. It's bad. I'm just kidding. Don't bully anybody, but you should encourage people to stop because it's very, very unhealthy, and it's gross, and it stinks. We love you guys. We're going to go ahead and cut the live stream for this week.
Go ahead and grab lunch. Martha's real quick.
Would it be a good idea to place a deadline date for placing an order on the Etsy cover photo now or later?
For holidays? Like deadline for holidays? Do it now. Start getting that holiday stuff in now. Michael's is already putting out their Christmas stuff.
We were going to do a trends video this week, but
nobody has their
crap out
yet.
This year.
I know.
Other than the craft stores, but craft stores don't do very good with their websites. Yeah. I sell pet treats and pet accessories. Should I have 2 separate Etsy shops?
They're pets.
They're pets. That's a cohesive element.
Pet is the common thing. It is the glue that holds the 2 things together. If you sold pets, pet treats, and baby food, I would be concerned.
Don't know how motivating it is to hear that you've been struggling with disorders and seeing y'all like this. I got all kind of issues. I was in the Air Force for 6 years and had a very, very crappy experience. So I've got a lot of issues. But yeah.
I was in an abusive relationship for a long time with a psycho. He was crazy.
Yeah, and then I changed.
No, not yet.
No, it wasn't me.
It wasn't you. He is my favorite kind of crazy.
So far.
He is so crazy. He's my favorite kind of crazy. Now that we're at the very end, we've got one story to tell you. I've been wanting to tell him the story for everybody who made it to the end. You get a farewell story because it's so funny and it'll make you laugh. So it's the story from Kroger's. It mentally scarred him. I thought it was funny. So we went to Kroger's, and there was this, older lady. She was kind of hunched over, looking at some phone chargers on a rack. And we were walking past her, and our daughter Taylor, who's 10, said something, something that she didn't want to do. And as we passed by, Mark said, what?
Very loud, kind of in this woman's direction. You don't have a choice. And she very quickly dropped what she was holding, covered her chest. Oh, God. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. And then I proceeded to walk away.
But he didn't hear what she said after that. Nope. As we started to pass by, she went, no, I liked it.
I got somebody very excited on accident.
Just the way this little lady, she just went, no, I liked it. So I lost my mind. And then he didn't hear what she said, so we kept walking, and I was like, oh my God, did you hear her?
It's a very odd way to respond to things. Anyway, now that that's out there, you tease. Apparently.
So now for the rest of time, guys, as we end our live streams, if you've been here and you watch the whole thing, you got to go, no, I liked it in the chat.
Little old lady.
Anytime he says anything where people are, if he says a bad word on a stream, if he says something like controversial, you guys from now on, you got to be the ones to say, no, I liked it.
Anyway,
all right.
We'll go ahead and cut it because I want to get some lunch. subscribe if you haven't already. I know there were a lot of people here. We were at like 220, 230 people.
Are there 220 likes on this video?
No, there better freaking be by the time I
220
cut this friggin'
likes.
live stream off.
220
Like the
likes.
video. It takes no effort whatsoever to do.
Did you just hit me?
Yes, I did. Stop it. You're being silly. Takes no effort at all to like, and it's free. It's totally free. Doesn't. I mean, if
We will not charge your credit
unless you have
card.
like a thumbtack on your phone where the like button is, then you can just scroll up a little bit and hit it. You know. But subscribe. If you have the YouTube app and you want to get notified most of the time when we go live or when we upload a video, you can click the little bell icon next to the subscribe somewhere down there, and it'll send you a notification anytime we go live. But yeah, we love you guys, and I think we'll see you... No, we won't see you next week for a live video. Next week, we will be on vacation. We should have a video uploading next Friday to kind of simulate a Friday Bean. We might have a live chat, but we are going to be in Tennessee.
Yeah, so there's going to be a video playing during the time the Friday Bean would normally play.
Yes.
It's pre-recorded, but the live chat where you guys can talk to each other will still be here. Please behave and love each other, because there will be no one moderating the chat.
And if you want to see pictures from the vacation for when we get back, she'll be posting them. You can follow her on Instagram at...
Oh, my personal. Starla K. Moore is my personal Instagram.
And then I am literally after the stream going to get a new cinematography drone to take videos, which you can see that video footage on my Instagram after we get back from vacation by following me at, I don't know my Instagram.
Big_Mark M.
M-A-R-C. Big_M-A-R-C-M. And you can see all my footage there when I get done. So we will see you guys in 2 weeks for a live video. We love you.
I liked it.